After being in journalism in different papers, different organizations for the last 32 years, right from the student state, I was wondering if there could be a social equity in India. This happened to me when I was a student, when I was studying economics. Lots of lessons I learned from that, my teachers and textbook of those times. I always thought about how social equity could be managed or brought in the concept, not in the context of socialism or communism, but I was hoping that it would come naturally as a growth. The country grows into a bourgeoisie economy. I was hoping that it would happen. But after looking back, reminiscing about the things I studied, things I did, things I wrote for 3 major newspapers of the country, I still feel there is some sort of vacuum, some sort of compartmentalization has taken place in the society. The compartmentalization, or rather I would project it as a vacuum created by the social system, economic system, rather socio-economic system, where political intervention has been minimal. Why this is coming towards my thoughts as I speak to you. We always wanted to say in the open, and also many people like me would have done that, but they did not open up. For many reasons, some people could not muster the courage to do it, or they went on with their lives without bothering much. But now, as I see in the recent incident that has shamed our country, shamed our Karnataka state, of political corruption. It's a generalized term, but I venture to say these things. Because when you look at the social imbalance, economic imbalance, it is true that the wealth of nations, wealth of our country at least, has been in few hands. Chief ministers have gone to the jail. Union ministers have been shamed in the public for corruption. I wouldn't say our prime ministers did it, but there are some fingers accusing the prime ministers also. At this point of time, when I say that, having said that, where are we going wrong? Probably we are inverse citizens of this country. This is what is worrying me much. Why should we be like that? Why shouldn't we be like like the developed countries, the first world countries as we call it? There's so much of economic power. Not that there is no poverty, but the poverty is relatively in a higher level, and the per capita income always definitely is much above the middle class, even in the poverty-stricken society in the Western or developed countries. I'm not looking at a model of developing socio-economic equity in India on the Western countries, the G7 as you call it. What I look at it as a writer, it could have been our own model. I doubt India is a poor country. No. The kind of millionaires and billionaires we are getting nowadays, top of the chart, the Forbes magazine, I don't think it's a poor country, but the concentration of wealth is being in this few hands. It has to be equated. Whether we want it or not, whether the government will not allow us or not, but it has to happen. It has to happen through a social revolution. I don't say it has to be a blood revolution. But look at the poverty-stricken people around us. There are people who live with 1 square meal and drinking gutter water. I have seen it myself in Dharavi and in Chembur, in Mumbai, and on the roads of Kolkata when I recently visited there. I see people use the flex board, what we put as blankets, pavement as their pillows, and we talk about wealth. For whom? I am not a communist by nature, though I liked reading Karl Marx and Michelangelo's, and even the American communists. At the time when we are passing through this important phase, where our new government is looking at different angles, wealth generation for the people, equity of citizenship for the people, and so many other things. If I can quote a few economists who have been advising the new government, including Raguram, our RBI governor, that the equity of wealth was one of the topmost agenda of this government. How are we going to achieve it? Should there be enough money in the man's pocket? Or should it be more than what he needs? Or should the inflation control the economy? Or should the gold standard as we knew it should govern our economy? Or should the foreign exchange reserves or the gold and petroleum reserves? What are we looking at? To start with, I felt I read a treatise some time back written by Professor Ashirvadam. Professor Ashirvadam, as you know, is a political scientist and economist of the new generation Indians. Not present generation, the previous generation, new generation India. So that treatise goes on. In one paragraph, I remember Professor Ashirvadam has said, we have a social equity built among ourselves, but it's not practiced. We have people working in all sectors, agriculture, industry, service structure, and everywhere. And our country has grown into a new generation of people who are capable of developing this economy, without any hindrance or without any intervention. But in the recent times, after we had this liberalization, privatization and globalization, LPG as we call it, things have gone awry. You may not like to hear it, but please do look around you and you will find poorer have become poorer. Middle class is going nowhere, and upper middle class they are in their own world. Upper middle class, the most dangerous, most strategically and most dangerous kind of social strata. Because these are the people who are overspending. They are buying big cars, they go and eat in big restaurants, and they have big houses to live in, and all kinds of foisted kind of responsibilities they take on themselves. The banks are being drained. I heard in an economic survey that 48% of our middle class people, we have only 20% middle class, if you can believe me. 48% of them have graduated into upper higher middle class. It's a social movement, it has to happen. But somewhere we feel that so many other people are left out. And India is not a country full of people who are greedy and who are overspending. They want their sustenance. This is what came to my mind when I was thinking about after Modi government took over the government's administration, India's administration. This is what happened. Will this government be able to bring socio-economic equity in the people? 6 months is too short a period to determine if Modi can do it or not. But given the chances, a merger of socialism and capitalism can be our medicine, or what do you call the cure for our precarious condition, socio-economic conditions. In the service sector, I see lots of potential. Apart from our IT sector, the basic sciences, mathematicians, the economics, and even the social scientists like in sociology, history. These are the people who are going to enrich the social sector, casual sector. If you look at the previous regimes, last 10 years, probably 11 years ago when Dr. Manmohan Singh as Prime Minister, we had high hopes that somehow these social segments will come into the mainstream, but it did not happen. Many reasons, because those days probably we are non-aligned in a true sense. We are not aligned towards communism, not aligned towards capitalism, and we are following our own agendas without having a vision, as Adam Smith calls it, that the wealth has to be equitable. So once we achieve that, all our social segments will start looking up, and the poverty will come down, and probably the rich will remain rich, no doubt about it. We want rich people. They have to earn more for us. and they are the people who are going to invest. We want rich people, no doubt about that. But where do these people go? What is the minimum wages now? According to one survey of the IMF, per capita income was $1,300 per year. Per capita. I am not saying, segment. I am not in going into the segmentation of that. It's just a per capita income of the country. Even China is earning about $13,000. So look at the parity, and we say we are going to compete with China in industry and agriculture and service sector. I don't think it's going to happen. So I think people who are in these segments like economics and sociology, political science, these are academic subjects, but people are there in top economists and top experts are there in these things. They should all merge their mind and their efforts towards bringing out a new wealth of nations. The wealth of nation which can challenge Adam Smith's version. In case we are not able to do that, probably we will not be able to achieve what we want as our new Prime Minister wants to do. He said once, I remember, when he was not in power, we are looking at a model where he told in Hindi, Garib ke thaili mein dana, Mahile ke thaili mein ana. Ana means few rupees, So the women sector, he thought it, even Jaswant Singh also he thought about that. Probably Jaswant Singh was also, thinking of in these terms that women segment are 33%, 44%, 49% of our women, they should be involved in economic empowerment. Probably Modi's model of economics give us some sort of impetus, if not total growth. Total growth will come only after the second plan period. I don't know, even planning commission is not there now. Things may not be looking so rosy at this point of time. But once the whole cabinet and the whole parliamentarian evolve a certain degree of planning, then things will definitely look up. This is I wanted to talk to you about, very casually in a way. I have not quoted many surveys because it take a long time, and plus also I have not sought expert opinion before doing it. But these are all my stray thoughts and my studies, what I have done during the last 2 years, not more than that. If I dwell into the last 28, 30 years of my experience as